Awesome. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the talk. If you're if you're feeling sad that my voice is broken, you have a gentleman to thank that for. So I do not regret that. Uh, but hi, and welcome to the talk. I'm Ujjwal. I am planning to work on. I work on Node.js and a lot of stuff, as I told you. But talking about internationalization today, I'm sorry, I just early. I was not not in the right kind of mood. But so because I have to make this about myself first, I work on Node.js, also Electron a little, and I contribute to different projects in the JavaScript ecosystem. Now, that includes V8 and Test 262. That's how I'm barely qualified enough to talk about this subject, because I worked on some of the stuff that relates to this, right? And also libuv and related things in the ecosystem. I'm a student, as they pointed out. I've been working with Google Summer of Code for the past couple of years, and I'm a speaker. This is not for you. This is for me to reassure myself all the damn times, like, you got this. But, so yeah, about the talk, actually. So we need to talk. So we know how this works, right? A couple of months ago, I submit a CFP proposal for something that I want to work on. So a lot of months ago, I was working on these things, and I was like, oh, it'd be so amazing to talk to people about. And I made a CFP proposal for this, and I started working on the talk. And I realized that I'll be talking at JSConf.Asia to all you awesome people about this subject. And I was super stoked. One of my friends in Russia set up a meetup group for me to test this talk out. I went to the meetup group, amazing, young, talented software engineers, sitting down, listen to this guy about internationalization, and I completely tanked the presentation. Like, it was so terrible that I got chills still. I'm getting flashbacks. So I thought maybe I could, of course, you're not as critical or savage as the Russians. They was like, oh, no. But I thought I had the courage to come up to this stage and talk to you guys about that presentation. I think I do not. So let's skip it. It's super boring anyway. So yeah, a lot of stuff I had planned. But, oh, yeah, ECMAScript proposals, right? Who cares? So, yeah. Yeah, we're done. I skipped the entire presentation in 3 minutes. So, yeah, don't want to bore you. Actually, now that we have a bunch of time and I'm a speaker and I've got your ears, let's talk about something else, something that we all care about. If anybody is even borderline sad that you did not get to hear about what you came here for, let me tell you about a cool website that I found on the internet. It's super amazing. You can so the deal, how this works is, you can just go to the website and you'll get my entire talk. It's called MDN. So yeah, that was the original talk. So if you scan this QR code, you go directly to the internationalization page. I'm sorry, I cannot come up here and talk to you people about the nitty-gritties of the API. You'll just hate me for that. So yeah, go there, and this will drop you directly to the Intl page. Let's talk about something else. Let's forget about the talk. It was boring and pretty much useless. Let's talk about software development, right? I hope everybody is okay with that. And let's talk about software development because software is hard, right? I mean, so let's get this straight. You all spent at least 3 important days of your life and pretty much most probably a lot of money $1,000 ticket, JSConf, right? And like travel, all that stuff, to listen to a bunch of nerds talking about nerdy stuff. Like, why would you do that, right? You could spend that time doing nice things. You did that because software is hard. It's really hard to do software, and you want to like do it better, do it more efficiently. You know what else is hard? Currencies. So I mean, one of the things that I do is I ask engineers to when you go back to your company, find the guy who works with, find the guy or the person working on currencies and payments and hug them. Like, really, they're miserable because currencies are hard. And if you think currencies are hard, like me, the reason for that might not be that you're as bad of a developer as I am, because currencies are hard for everyone. Like the people who you look up to, like all the damn time, screw up with currencies all the damn time. So there'd be Google's like $0 some arbitrary amount of euros for my free euros, or it sucks when you create your undefined civic type R. It's like, how do I pay you like not a number dollars, right? Or when you get a late fee because you do not know how to pay like $0. Or Bethesda, it's like, hey, that's an awesome t-shirt. I'd definitely pay that much for that. And like Spotify, like you don't expect Spotify to do this. Like, do I pay in pounds? Do I pay in dollars? Do I pay in neither of those? And also, like, obviously, the almighty euro dollar. So it's euro, it's dollar, it's euro dollar euro. The next time, I was like, the hell, right? And you know this is the like, if you work on product stuff, if you work on design, these are the critical like microseconds, right? These are the critical microseconds where you have already converted a user. They're waiting to make that payment. And the user's basically like, shut up and take my money. Like, just, this is the part where you do not screw up, right? Everything else, you got a free pass. But like, do not screw up payments, because like, you finally convince them to pay you. That's amazing, right? Some people kind of get it though. I mean, like, I like a lot of things about some of the Google websites. For example, when I was giving this talk in Russia, I already tanked the talk and they were deporting me. They detected that I was in Russia and that I'd probably use rubles to go. And so they deported me to the next flight was to Latvia, so I ended up being in Latvia. And I had to go back home somehow. So, and then they detected I had to use euros. And then coming here from home, INR, you go there. You can go there right now. It probably detect you're in Singapore and just like show you all the things in SGD, and that's great user experience, right? So how is this done? Like get me through this. It's easy. So no hard rules, really straightforward. So in the English-speaking world, it's fairly easy, right? So we use, like, this is as God intended it to be. We have the decimal point where it needs to be. We have the comma separators, dollars, pounds, and euros if you're in Ireland. But things, as soon as you move out of the English-speaking world, things start to get complicated. So you can have like, yeah, Europe, I get that, like, but why? Like, why? Like, that defies mathematics. That's not like a valid number. Why would you do that? But it's like Europeans like, oh, it's okay. But it's like, so many people live in Europe and like have some context about this. It's like, it's fair to assume like 80% of the people in the world would like probably have some idea about this format. So it's like, it's still good. We're good with this one. And Latvians. So the Latvians used to use a space for like the delimitation. And I'm like, what? That's not what you use spaces for. But okay, at least they're not using tabs. So, and then it's like, is that a fraction? Like, is that what do I have to do math every time? I'm like, and of course the Japanese drop the fraction because there's no fraction. But like, and Indonesian people, right? Indonesian people in the audience could like, right? We need to talk. So what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Because that is totally 1.235. I'm gonna come up to you and I gotta pay you 1.235. Not a. I was like, it starts getting like, if you're reaching levels of like confusingness, but it's like I'm not even joking anymore, right? So the Swiss franc using an apostrophe, it's not a valid number, but it's a valid string, guys. And so this is interesting. If you're Canadian, you should like reconsider life choices because, so I'm not shitting you when I say, if you're in Canada, if the person, like the format in which you write the currency depends on which language the person is speaking in. So you write that if they're speaking in English. You write this if they're speaking in French. It's like, how do you determine that? It's like, do you wear a tag? It's like, it says French, and then people like assume, oh, they're probably not as smart. Sorry. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. So let's talk about the most important thing in life. Let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is what I feel when I work with multiple currencies, and it doesn't have to be that way. Let's fix this. So we did. If you go to your browser, if you go to your friendly browser right now, or Node.js, and try this API. So you go currency, you go Canadian dollars, boom. English, you got that. French, you got that. And it's like, that's just one currency in two languages. You can try that with all combinations, it just works. It takes out like, so you can have variables for the currency and for the language. And then like, you can take the guesswork out of the printing. You can just, you do not use a static string, just like number format your currencies. And so I'm sorry, right, for what I'm gonna say next, but I have bad news. It's like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not just currencies that are hard, right? Internationalization is hard. It's really damn hard. So actually, oh wow, this is, we have a small problem. So I was planning to talk about a lot of other things, actually just one next thing, but the problem about this is I cannot, I think. Because like a lot of you are not as smart as me and do not know as much math. So I think we need to like revisit some of the fundamentals if I like want you to be at the same level of thinking as me. I am, of course. So let's take a couple of minutes to revisit the fundamentals, if that's okay. Yeah. First class of kindergarten, counting. So let's start with counting. And we all love cats, right? So let's count cats. So you have one cat, you have 6 cats, and you have 0.7 cats. Now, don't ask me how that works. Maybe you have like 9 roommates and 7 cats between all of you, but like, yeah. But like if you see the pattern here, English has like when it comes to pluralization, English has like 2 things, which is one and not one, which is like pretty simple. It's like, it's either one or not one. Like, it might be a fraction, it might be like a non-one number, but it's not one. And pluralization is easy. Life is good. Let's move on to a different breed of cats, Welsh cats. And counting Welsh cats, you have 0 cat hard, you have 1 cat, you have 1.5 cat, you have 2 cat, you have 3 cat, you have 6 cat, you have 42 cat. So pluralization is easy in English. And that's just a second language. That's just Welsh. And Wales is like so super duper close to England, right? It's like, how do you fuck that up? But like, you go to like countries across the world. Arabic has like 4 plural forms, and like languages have like plural forms. So English has like 1 and other, and other languages have few and many. And like, how do you determine that? But it's like, it's so hard to figure this stuff out. but it doesn't have to be. So we have a Plural rules API for stuff like this. So you can tell it, okay, English, US, I like beef jerky, but PR does select 0, it'll throw up other, 0.5 other, 1 is 1, and everything else is other. You can just use this underlying low-level API to determine what plural rule you need to use. And you could, I'm going to show a bunch of code next. Please do not bother with like trying to read all of that. It's like just trying to demonstrate, make a point. You'll get the code later on. But you can use this underlying API, if you notice, to spin up a quick script to like format your sentence, right? So English, and just change it slightly to make it work for Welsh. And this is an amazing API. You can use it for ordinals. So you got 0 at first, second, third, fourth, 11th, and 21st, 42nd, 103rd, in any language that you want. So these examples that I showed you, I'm not smart enough to write them, but the amazing people at V8 are, and they have like a huge blog post up. It explains all the feature in detail. It's amazing. You can also find the code there. Just scan the QR code if you want to. Just follow this link. But yeah, that's that API. So like, let's talk about, now that we're talking about stuff, I have an observation, right? Everybody loves relative time expressions. Like, you do not want to know that your driver is 42 seconds away. But like, the other observation I have is nobody really knows how to do it. And everybody tries to do it. I mean, like, I'm just playing a video game. It's like, what is that number? Do I respawn this year? I just want to play CSGO. What? And like, even Apple's like, why is that so specific? It's like, what's going to happen? Is that like the next eclipse or something? But you don't have to like, you don't have to be like super smart to do it anymore, because we also have an API for that. So relative time formatting. It's called relative time format. Numeric auto is like the format that you want it to be in. You can like do it short, narrow, whatever. And -1 day is yesterday. 0 day is today. 1 day is tomorrow. -1 week is last week. 0 week is this week. 1 week is next week. That's so cool, right? Now, you can do this. You could already do this. Like, this is not that hard to do, you'd be thinking. But I'll leave up to your imagination how hard it is to do in multiple languages. If you want to support like 15 languages, you're not going to do it on your own. And you have not been. People have been trying to do this kind of stuff, relative time formatting, especially on the internet for like all the time. And you probably do it as well. You might use something like Moment or Globalize or DataFNS for that. Now, there's a problem with this. And my segue into that is going to be this, right? So, I'm sorry, Laurie. But Laurie, who you might find brown, is like, build React in the browser, you cowards. And it's like, it's a joke, we get it. But then if you think about it, Laurie's onto something, right? I mean, like, how many of you are front-end developers, by the way? People who do front-end stuff? That's quite a few. I cannot say anybody. But that's quite a few people. Yeah. And the, sorry. So build React into the browser, you cowards. And so you are making front-end websites. And the thing is that you, like, pretty much every modern front-end website like uses some sort of decent DOM API, right? You use React or something. And it's like, why can't you just standardize that? That will shave off your bundle sizes. That would also like make a standard API that people can then just build upon. And then, and people are doing that. People are expanding the web platform, virtual DOM, coming to the HTML standard, so that's cool. But like, talking about these kind of things, let's talk about sizes. And like, this is completely safe for work, but so React and Preact. by the way, I do not want to be controversial about this. Please do not subtweet me. I have no idea what these words even mean. Like, I just write C++. Please leave me alone on Twitter. But this is just data. But like, because people come up to me is like, oh, React, isn't that supposed to be half the size of React? I do not know. You tell me. But but React is it's 107 kilobytes. If you React in itself is a package that has a huge download. It's like around 60 KB. But then people come up to me, it's like, it's not what it adds to the bundle, it's just what you download. It's like, fair enough. So it just adds 6.5 kilobytes to the bundle, while React adds 9 kilobytes. Now that's basically cheating, because if you also add React DOM, that basically adds like 104 kilobytes, which is like, but let's not dwell into that again. But so comparing the magnitude, you add in Vue, and it's like, it's 63.5 kilobytes if you just see the bundle size. And then, oh, Angular. And Angular, that's just Angular / core. So you need a bunch of other Angular modules as well to make Angular websites. But let's compare that to the CLDR data. Now we gotta talk about this. Because, so that's over 6 megabytes for dates. You need numbers to work with dates, so that's 4.3 megabytes, another one. And like, there's a huge like CLDR core also data that you need. And then there's like, obviously you need something to query this data with, so you need a JS library for that. Now but these are so abysmally small compared to these that like, let's not even talk about that, right? But that data is a lot. Imagine having, and this is, so I tried to like include the bundle size, which is the same, because like, this is JSON. You can't tree shake that, right? You need all the data. You need, like, you can't just drop languages. But, so if you like have to compile all that data and push that video bundle, that's like over 11 megabytes. If you have a manager, even somewhat like the managers I've seen, it's a non-starter, like 11 megabytes, no way. But the relative time format API, you know how much the bundle size on this one is? 0, because it's built in the browser. And you go for narrow, 3 quarters, 1 day, and you can go for Spanish, which is so cool. Or Latvian, or, yeah, this does not make any sense, or Chinese. And this is so cool, right? You can just use these to check out what yesterday and today is, tomorrow is. I pretty much wrote a script just to know what these words are in different languages. I have nothing to do. So it's like, what about comparing strings, by the way? Yay, we have collaborator for that, because for some reason, the Germans deal with the A with accents completely different from the Swedish. And it's like, they're right across the border, like, get this sorted out, right? It's like just, but yeah, if you want to compare strings, if you want to sort strings or search strings, which you have to do like so many damn time, you can use this for that. It's locale specific. And people will come up to me when I talk about this API, and they would be like, oh, imagine the possibilities we have. So there's date time formatting, list formatting, like, again, these all things work despite whichever language you're working on. This segmenting, so you can iterate over sentences, paragraphs, whatever. You don't have to like do dot split, period, because like that only works so far, right? And it's all a part of ECMA 402. Please come help out. Now, I think I can mirror my display on this one, or maybe, but okay. If you go to can I use for internationalization, it's green all over the boat. Like most of the internationalization features you can use in your applications right now. If you see the test 262 report on the internationalization API test, this was the day people put up this website, remove chakra core, RIP. And if you see the internationalization API, it started off with around 57% coverage, with V8 going 71, yeah. And SpiderMonkey 50%, JavaScript core 48%, okay. And if you see that today, the numbers have improved, right? So as of yesterday, actually, we didn't build it today yet. And remove modable access also, we don't care about it. It's reached 61%, and V8 is hitting 86%, and SpiderMonkey's improved to 54. JavaScript core stays at 44, but like, things are improving, things are getting better. The tests, like, the number of tests increased between that time, so it's like, even if somebody stayed at the same number, they added some features. I'd say V8 is like, technically, if you look at it, V8 is pretty much 100% covered. A lot of this comes from like features landing in V8 right now, plus like one API, which is called V8 break iterator, which we have like handled differently. But it's like, yeah, if you're using Node.js, if your users use Chrome, which I think they do, I mean the numbers at end, you can, or any Chromium-based browser for that matter, you can be perfectly sure that this will like just work. Right? So please, use internationalization APIs. Singapore is the only big JSConf city that I can go to and be like, 4 languages, you know how bad it is, right? And people are like, yes. Because like JSConf.US, people would be like, oh yeah, just use English. I'm like, that's not the point. But yes, okay. Just a second. So yeah, thank you for that stuff, and back to this actually. Also want to thank a bunch of awesome people before I leave. So there's Satya, who works on V8. Thank you for all your work on internationalization, and thank you also for like helping me out working on internationalization so much. You're amazing. Thanks to Matthias for helping with this talk so much. You're the best. Thanks for Rick at TC39 for helping me through all my work with this tests and all this stuff. Thank you, Steven, for like literally be the only person at Node.js who keeps upgrading ICU. I hope I can help you more in the next few days. Thank you to the awesome people who work on V8, me excluded, obviously. And thank you to the TC39 committee, and thank you to the organizers. You're amazing people. Thank you. And I'd like to thank you all also for I'd like to thank you all for attending this talk. And yeah, see you around. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. That's what I'm here for. Yay.